Hello, YouTube. Um, it's been a tough one. I'm not going to lie, and that's why I'm making this video because it's a reminder to me and other people who watch this that sometimes this sport is tough. Um, I'm going to post a few things video-wise. A lot of you seen my deadlift from last week, which was incredible. I've gone back into this week at full pelt. Um, I had a really good axle session. I had a PB on floor to overhead, put my all into it, and beat what I did a couple of weeks ago. So a couple of weeks ago, if you remember, I got 75 times 7, not comp weight, 10 kilos below. Yesterday, I got 85 times 7 in a quicker speed. So really, really, really pleased. It's a good number. Yes, of course, I would like to have been under the minute, but remember, this is training, and sometimes we will just naturally take that little bit of time, because in the end we have lives and we have to work around it. Cut to today, feeling really good. Had quite a long day. It's been a bit of an overstimulating, a bit of an overwhelming day. Lots of people and all that kind of stuff. Quite busy, and cut to today. I was really looking forward to deadlift. So it's 200 for AMRAP in the minute or just over, because my main concern over this week was to just get as many reps as possible. I wanted 5, right? Yes, if I got more, stretch 6, 7, 8 would be fantastic. I wanted 5, especially considering that I got a 4 rep max back a month or so ago of 208.5. So I thought I should be a shoe in for 5 at 200. I got 4. I went for the 5th. It wasn't there, probably because I took a little bit too long. I let my air go out and that was it. But I then had a bit of a meltdown because it just feels a bit shit. It's really difficult, and I appreciate lots of people will understand. I've been doing this sport now for 4 years, and sometimes you just feel like you don't make the progress that you should. Now, of course, it's difficult, and of course, I've got a number of health problems, mental health problems going on. I also started university a couple of weeks ago. I do 8-hour day placements on a hospital ward, plus university. It's a lot busier, and I know I have to give myself credit, and I will take the positives. I did 4 in 19 seconds, whereas 2 weeks ago I did 190 for 4 in 22. So it's faster with 10 kilos extra. On top of that, it moves really well. It's not like it's getting really, really, really bad at the 4th one. It just cuts out by the 5th one. So the 4 I'm really pleased with. So it's a really good progress. So again, a quick speed for 4. And then also on top of that, not only a quick speed, but quicker than what I did 2 weeks ago. So it's good in that respect, but it's just hard sometimes because it's very, very easy to get in your head about this stuff. And, I guess I've got in my head about the fact that, this year I've done 2 competitions, which I came dead last in. The Paddy competition, I was just outclassed. I put my all into it, but I was outclassed. And Lincolnshire's, I was unwell. But it's hard not to think, actually, am I just making excuses all the time? And I know people around me have been great, and they've said, oh, but you need surgery, you need part of your body removed. And it's true, but like a lot of you will probably understand, sometimes you just feel like you're making excuses. And when I wake up tomorrow, I'm sure I'll go, actually, I'm really pleased, because in the end, this is really, really difficult. But sometimes you just wonder, have you got this edge? I'm not the most masculine man. I'm not the most hardcore. I don't have that level where people kind of rage. And, of course I am natural. I don't, take anything additional and all that kind of stuff. So of course there isn't that extra level from that perspective. So maybe I'm just being harsh on myself. But I guess the reason I'm doing this video is because I just want to kind of show people that although my videos are a lot of sunshine and rainbows, sometimes days don't go your way. Sometimes days are really, really difficult, and sometimes you just have to go, actually, it's fine. 4 at 200 kilos is insane. And in the long run, my 1 rep max is 226, so I shouldn't really expect more than probably 4 to 5, maybe 6. But it's just hard, isn't it? Because you go into the day thinking, am I just going to come last again? And again, I always purport the fact that strongman is about you, and it's about your goals, and you do what you do to get your goals, and that is so true. But at the same time, it's hard. And I'm not talking about winning here. Like, I'm not talking about, oh, I want a podium and stuff, because I have to also acknowledge the fact that I can turn up to competitions and be 20 years older than some of the lads who are doing it, who walked into a gym one day and pulled 200 kilos straight away. You know, it took me years to pull 200 kilos, and it's taking me even longer to get beyond that. So I can't deny the progress I've made. And, like, you know, again, there's no additional substances here. So of course, at the same time, this is all natural, and then obviously I'm working to this level incredibly so. So again, I know ultimately I am being harsh on myself, but it's just hard sometimes, because you know what, it'd just be nice not to come last, or to come top 10 or top 5, you know, not even about podium, you know. And yes, I know I've podiumed before. I won last year in a beginners competition, which was incredible. And I got top 10 at comp in a beginners comp last year, which actually was more of a novice comp by the standards you look at it. And it's not like I've entered easy competitions. You know, I've entered the competition back with Paddy's, where the monster dumbbell was 55 kilos. I mean, most of the time you wouldn't see that until you got to Inters level. So, and I got it, you know, so it was incredible. So again, I know I'm being harsh on myself. So that's why I'm making this video, to remind me that sometimes it doesn't go your way, and that is totally okay. Sometimes it's okay to say to yourself, I'm really pissed off, but also to help other people to realize that, again, not everything's perfect. There are sometimes days where it just doesn't go the way you want it to go. And I know some of you out there are probably thinking, oh, well, 200 times 4 is incredible. But like, we all know in a competition, something like that, there'll be somebody who'll turn up and get like 20, and it's shit. And I'm not saying, you know, because of course that happens. That's how competitive things work. But it's just a bit rubbish, because you're a bit like, how am I ever going to compete with that? But like, next year at least, when I turn 40, I can look at competing in masters, and hopefully that will put me in a position where I am competing against people of my age group. They are pretty hardcore themselves. I'm not going to pretend they're not, but they are. But at least you level the playing field from an age perspective, you know, and that's it. But yeah. Anyway, after this, you'll see the 7 I got on Axel. I'll probably speed it up, because otherwise it'll take ages. I also did strict press 67.5 for 8, and that's moving really well. And then there is my 4 times 200, or should I say 200 times 4. 4 kilos times 200 reps is not that exciting, but 200 times 4 is awesome. I've got 2 more sessions this week. I've got my legs, which I'm going to do on Thursday, and then I've got full weight events training, which I'm hoping I can replicate what I did a couple of weeks ago, when actually I was shattered. So hopefully I can step up the game on Saturday, especially as I won't do it in my garden. I should be doing it at that gym that you've seen on my videos, which means I can then hopefully push myself a little bit more on flat ground, on appropriate ground, rather than doing it on a garden that goes upwards and is all bumpy and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Anyway, enjoy the training. Thank you for listening. Remember, you know, this isn't everything, but also at the same time, I do totally understand when you feel like it's tough, and it's okay to sometimes feel that way. Don't feel like it's not valid, because we all understand that sometimes you just don't get it. You don't hit what you want, and it's frustrating. Enjoy.